Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I'm excited to share with you a first look at the 15th Mechanized, a new Polish division available in the upcoming LANDJUT DLC. Let's jump on in. Just to note, what you see today is a work in progress and therefore subject to change. We're going to go through all of the units and we'll put together a quick deck. So starting here in the logistics tab, we have the BAW 485, which is an amphibious supply vehicle with 500 supply. It costs 25 points. You get 12 on a card. There is 2 cards available, so you can get a total of 24 of these if you want. 90 km per hour on road, 60 km per hour off road. It's going to be your small supply choice in this deck, as it is your only choice. Then there's also the Graz 255B. This is a nice supply truck, 2000 supply, 60 points, 3 on a card. Reasonably fast on road at 90 km per hour and pretty decent off road at 65 km per hour as well. So this is a decent sort of mid to back line logistics vehicle. And we have the MTLBU, which is a 40-point command vehicle. Get 2 on a card. These might be useful in 1v1 if you want to capture command sectors early on, but for the most part, I don't like the availability being only 2 on a card. But 50 km per hour off-road, 75 km per hour on-road, it does have 1 armor all round, but yeah, kind of naff. You're much better off going just for a BMP leader for 70 points. 55 km per hour off-road, 75 km per hour on-road. It does have the standard 2A28 cannon and the Malutka M. So it can defend itself. It's got 3 front armor as well. Much more resilient vehicle for 70 points, and you get 3 on a card, which is the big deal there for me. Then you've got the Mi-8T, which is your logistic helicopter with 1,500 supply, 55 points, 4 on a card. Again, something you're going to be using in the sort of mid to back line if you're going to bring it, but probably not in this case since you do have access to the Graz. Then other command vehicles, we have the WD-43, which is 100 km per hour on road, but only 60 km per hour off road. 4 health is kind of low, 80 points, 3 on a card. It's okay if you want more availability from your logistics tab, but otherwise, yeah, again, sticking to the BMP for the most part. There is also the option of the Scott R2M, which does have the KPVT to sort of defend itself. 2 front armor, 100 km per hour speed is decent as well. It's a nice command vehicle, maybe a little overpriced with low availability in this case. And then we got the field depot. Now, when I mention like in this case, I'm generally referring to in relation to other units in the deck, because in some cases a unit like this in some decks would be better than others, but in this case it is probably not. Right, infantry tab. We have the PKM, which is pretty naff machine gun. 15 points, you get 12 on a card. I guess if you spread enough of them out, you could get some value out of them, maybe double stack them in buildings or something, but yeah, generally something that's going to waste your activation points. Then we have the reserve leader, 3 AKs and SVD, kind of a trash leader. 4 strength, 30 points, 3 on a card is the only thing that's nice about them, like low cost, decent availability. But otherwise, no smoke, no AT, no way to really like stay out of line of sight, and they're going to get killed easily by artillery. So yeah, kind of rough. Then we got the reserves with the 11 AKs, PKM, RPG 7VM. Not a bad setup. 12 strength force. If you have military police with these could be pretty good. Although I don't see any military police. Are these military police? They are. WSW. Yeah, you probably want to have to bring those with them, and then you can really get value out of them. 50 points. I don't know if this feels a bit overpriced, but 3 cards of these, 12 on a card, and you can upvet them. Interesting. In terms of transports, they can bring in the truck, the yellow 1800, or the Topaz 2A. And then you got the same squad with an SVD and an extra PKM. So you're dropping 2 AKs for an extra machine gun and an SVD. That is good value, actually. And then you get the Komar AT as well, which is pretty trash. RPG 76, only has 12 penetration. It's only 500 meter range. It's only got 40% accuracy. Terrible AT weapon, but at least allows it to defend itself, maybe against like sort of machine gun vehicles like M113s or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I like the guns. I'm not sure about the AT. The AT is like really off-putting there. All right, SAPG, the Pioneers. These guys have 6 AKs and the Komar for the leader. 45 points, only 2 on a card. Yeah, it's a pretty trash leader. Shock trait can be brought in with the Scott 2 with the Dushka, but yeah, not great. Then we got the reserve SAPG. These guys, 8 strength, 7 submachine guns, PKM. Not a fan of Pioneers that use, or engineers that use PKMs. I find it kind of pointless because they have to be on the move most of the time to keep up with the enemy squad. So you're going to be getting close enough to use shock and the satchel charges, but the PKM can't be fired on the move, so it's kind of rough. Then we have the SAPG. These guys are okay because they've got the 9 strength. They're a bit more standoff in their anti-infantry because they're using the RPO, which is a napalm or like incendiary rocket launcher. So decent ranged infantry damage with shock trait. Yeah, this is a much better anti-infantry squad. But you do pay for it. It's like an extra, 25 points over this reserve unit. And you also get way less availability on the card. And then we got the AT squad, so the double RPG-7VL. 18 pen apiece with a 675 meter range with 55% accuracy. It's a decent AT weapon. In terms of transports, you've got a decent amount of choices here. You've got the truck, the Scott 2A with the KPVT. You've got the Scott 2AM, which has a LANDJUT M on it as well. So 35 point with a 2,625 meter range HGM. Not bad. It's kind of, I guess, similar in price to Armada 182 Milan. Is that going to be the same as price as that? Maybe. And then there's the BMP one as well, which has the LANDJUT M on it. So that's good. Either the 2AM or the BMP are both good options. Obviously, you get a little bit more resilience with the BMP. You're also getting a vehicle that can provide IFV trait for other mechanized infantry. So yeah, that's nice. Although the Scott 2AM, of course, is a lot faster. You've got that 100 km/h on-road speed, so you're going to get to the front a lot quicker. Let's move on. The Panzermotorrussenführer. East German forces joining the fray. 3 strength squad with an RPG-7VL and smoke grenade. The smoke grenade's nice, but only 3 strength means that they're going to get killed by artillery very easily. Resolute IFV infantry trait comes in with a truck, the W50 or the SPW70, neither of which have IFV infantry trait, so it's kind of useless for the leader unless you have a vehicle that can provide it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's maybe a bit too weak. But 40 points, 3 on a card. Then we have some more of the Panzermotorrossen. These are an 8-man infantry squad, 6 AKs. They've got an MG and an SVD and the RPG-7VR, which has 20 penetration, but it's only got 500 meter range, 55% accuracy. Yeah, the lack of range can really hurt these squads sometimes, but otherwise it's a pretty good squad. 55 points, resolute trait. You can get 2 cards of these, 8 on a card, and they come in with the SPW70 or the truck. Then we got the mechanized leader. So this is more like it. This is the kind of leader that I prefer. So 7 strength is a decent amount of strength. It means you're not going to get one shot by like a random artillery shell. You've got smoke grenades. You've got like at least a little bit of AT there. Yeah, 50 points. Only 2 on a card is a bit of a letdown, but it's a nice, cheap, reasonable squad. And you can bring it in with the truck or the BMP, and the BMP is also going to be useful in this case because it does provide the IFE infantry trait. But moving on, we have the mechanized infantry, the Portesmech. These guys have 7 strength, 6 AKs, PKM, RPG 7VM. They're okay. Again, make sure you utilize the IFE infantry trait if you are bringing them. And then there's the 7-man squad with 2 PKMs and an SVD with an RPG 7VM. This is a much better squad. For an extra 5 points, this is like a huge upgrade. In terms of like anti-infantry capability, you're going to be winning a lot more fights with those, for sure. And then the BMP, not too bad. All right, SPG 9. Stack these up if you're going to use them. Scott 2AM is a nice transport for them to get them into position quickly, and there's also the BMP there. Then we have the WSW, which is your military police. So 3 submachine guns, 5 AKs, and an RPK. It's okay. They do have a security trait, so their optics goes from normal to good, so you can kind of use them as like pseudo recon. But yeah, military police is going to be important if you're spamming reserves. I think it's just, like in this division, probably quite important to actually use military police. And you can bring them in with the truck, or you can bring them in with their other sort of truck, I guess, or car with a military police trait on it, which is what I would recommend. Moving on, we got the standard infantry, so 8-man leader squad. Oh, this is even nicer than the other one. So 55 points, pay an extra 5 points, but you get the SVD, you get an extra man. I kind of like that it has the extra man. I don't know if it's worth like an extra 5 points. Doesn't really make much of a difference, but still a really good leader squad, another good option. You can come in with the LO 1800 or the Scott 2A. There's a Pechota, which is a 9-man squad, 8 AKs, PKM, RPG 7VM. Again, truck or IFE. And then you've got the SVD variant, which is 2 PKMs, SVD. That's a 10-man squad though. That's nice. Okay, 60 points. Yeah, all of these like upgraded SVD squads are actually kind of good. I think you're going to get decent value out of them. Right, next up, HGM. So Fargo M can come in with the UAZ or the Scott 2AM. The Scott 2AM, I think in this case is going to be the choice. Then there's Commandosi. These are a Special Forces squad, so Special Forces trait, shock trait, have the Tantiles and then the RPKs, so 2 machine guns, 4 AKs, or 4 rifles, I should say, RPG 7VM, and then a smoke grenade. Yeah, nice squad for sure. Can come in with the Honka, which is pretty fast because it's got Special Forces trait, and then you got the Sokol, the M8T, and the M8T with rockets is an option as well. And they're not, bear in mind they come in at 2 vet, so those get the extra accuracy on those rockets is pretty nice. Finally, Kala Conkers, East German Conkers with UAZ and SBW 70 as their options. Nothing really to write home about there, just your standard 17 and 20 penetration on those 80 gems. All right, moving on to the artillery tab, we have the 120mm mortar. Again, I'll just mention artillery rework is coming. In terms of like actually showing off how things work, we'll have to wait. But basically, mortar HE will be a little bit more useful. Smoke HE is as good as ever. So either way, this is your East German 120mm. Then there's a Polish 120mm. If you're going to bring these, bring them with, yeah, probably the Polish one's going to be better because you can bring it with the Scott 2, which does have the armor to keep it safe. There is a 160mm mortar with 2 HE and 6,000 meter range. That's okay. And then there's a 240mm one as well. So 3 HE, 9,000 meters. Now these got nerfed quite hard a while back. Like I can't remember what the other airborne division, like Russian airborne division that has these. But the cluster one was really good, and it kind of can still be. But the HE one kind of suffered hard from the nerf and never really recovered. So I don't know how this is going to be with the rework, but it could be better, especially with like a lower arc of fire. Then we got the 120mm. So this is 2.2 HE, 12k range. Yeah, not going to be particularly fantastic. There's also the A19, which is the 2.2 damage but 20k range. It also, of course, has the heat rounds, but you're never really going to be using them to engage directly. Then we got the 152, which is the classic ML20, so 3 damage at 17-kilometer range. And then there's also the 152 here, with 3 damage, 12k range. Then we've got the BM14, which is the 140mm rockets that can only fire 10k range, 1.4 HE. 1.4 HE seems kind of low. I don't know how effective this is actually going to be. It might just be a bit of a supply sink for how much damage it actually does. But it's probably something worth trying. This one, a bit better. 240mm rockets, 2.4 HE, 15-kilometer range. You still want to get this quite close because you can reduce the dispersion and then really make those rockets hit the mark. So yeah, this is not too bad. This one I'm not sold on. And then we've got Gvozdikas, so 122mm self-propelled guns. Artillery tab is interesting. I like the fact that they have access to all of these like old guns. Very cool. And then some old rocket launchers as well. Very old school in general. And I think you can probably create some pretty nice artillery batteries with all of this if you wanted to. All right, moving on to the tank tab. We got the D44 85mm. So 14 pen at 1,925 meter range, 45% accuracy. It's only 45 points plus the 20 from the truck. If you spread these around, you can like pick off units with side shots and just like cover your flanks against vehicles in general. I think like mixed in to a nice combined force, these can be useful because often they're not going to be worth like killing with artillery quickly. But alas, still gonna die pretty fast. And then you got the Maluk P. This is the BRDM2. Fan of these because of the good stealth and their speed. Means they can get into position and hide and then just unleash AGMs. I like using them in pairs so you can get like the double side shots with the 17 pen. But it's 2,625 meter range, 50% accuracy, and you can also bring in the East German Conkers variant as well, which increases the penetration to 20 and yeah, also gets a resolute trait in this case. All right, T55s. So we got the T55 AD here, which is the leader version of the standard T55A. So 16 pen, 1,925 meter range, 45% accuracy, Dushka PKT. It's standard for 90 points, like it's kind of the baseline. 45 kilometers per hour off-road, 75 kilometers per hour on-road. Like they're slow, they do a reasonable amount of damage for their costs, but you're going to have to get them close to do the damage, so it's something you'd utilize with smoke. There's also reserve T55s, which are exactly the same in price, or sorry, exactly the same in stats, but obviously have the reserve trait, so you pay 10 points less. The reserve trait is like taking away some of the accuracy and stuff. So, I mean, I say that actually. Is that just 40% accuracy because of the reserve trait? I think it is. Yeah, so it's just a reserve trait. Anyway, if you are using the WSW, you can use the little truck to accompany tanks like this, and then they'll lose that reserve trait, and you'll end up with the same accuracy as normal, so you're paying like just 10 points less for the same tank, which can be really useful again. And like if you're in a smoke situation and you just have like a couple follow commands on those trucks, you can get some good value out of these. There is access to one of the T55 ASs, so this is a mine clearing vehicle, which is going to be very useful for taking out enemy infantry in towns and forests. So yeah, big fan of that. And then there's also the T55 AM2B, which is an upgraded T55 with 2,275 meter range on its gun. So 14 pen, 2,275 meter range with 55% accuracy is pretty scary for long range snipes. And then the Bastion, HDGM, which is 18 penetration with 2,800 penetration. Or sorry, not 2,800 penetration, that'd be crazy. Range and 60% accuracy. You're getting 3 extra front armor, an extra side armor. You're getting smoke, which is nice. Yeah, bear in mind a lot of these tanks, they don't have smoke, so that can catch you out quite a lot. Provide your own smoke when you're using T-55s, but T-55 AMTB are going to help you control the open ground a little bit more, which is nice. A recon tab. Reserve recon. 3 submachine guns with the Comar. Yeah, it's alright. These are the sorts of units that you spread around. They come with an OT-65 with good optics, which is pretty fast actually, and then there's a BRDM-1 which is also good optics, but even faster off-road. This is 75 km/h off-road, this is 85 km/h off-road, and it's also amphibious, so that's kind of handy in some maps. But yeah, this is the sort of unit that you just like spam around the place to keep eyes on things. Then you've got the R330T Taran, which is a SIGINT unit. 25 points, you get 6 on a card. It's got very good optics. It's got the SIGINT trait. It's also amphibious. Slow though, but can be useful for helping on the flanks. Then we got the Snar 10. This is another of the new counter battery radar units, which reveals enemy artillery the moment they fire, and yeah, basically allows you to counter battery nice and quick. Which I don't know if you can do with these. I'm not sure like what kind of aim time we're looking at here, but yeah, you may struggle to actually counter battery with those guns. Regardless, still going to be a useful piece of kit, especially since you're going to be able to like see what's firing at you as well. Like a big thing about these counter battery radars isn't necessarily like knowing the position, because a lot of like experienced players can see where things are firing from anyway, but it tells you what the unit is. So you can tell what kind of rocket to expect to land on you, like whether it's HE or whether it's cluster. You can tell what kind of like caliber rounds are coming in, and that can be really, really helpful information on its own. The BRDM with exceptional optics. This is nice, fast, good optics, great unit. BRDM with KPVT. I mean, the BRDM2, again, fast, very good optics, not exceptional, but decent firepower on this thing, to be honest. Then we've got the Zvierdowski. These are your standard recon 4-man, RPG 7VM. They're okay. Again, OT65 would be the choice for the good optics, and then MI2 if you want them a bit more mobile. We've got recon engineers, so they can come with an amphibious transport. They can also bring in the Trihors, which is a NSVT recon vehicle. This could be really useful for like just putting machine gun downrange on enemy infantry. So yeah, I kind of like that. And then there's the MI2 again as an option. Then we have the Special Forces. So we've got the Special Forces shock trait, RPG 7VL. It's only a 4-man squad, so it's not as strong as some of the other Special Forces, but for 45 points and the fact you can get this like Honka with the Dushka on it, it's pretty nice, because again, this is Special Forces traits. It's going to slightly faster, it's a bit more resilient. Another thing that's really good for just staying at range and picking off infantry, especially with a 2 vet, which makes it more accurate. Yeah, generally a nice combination. And then finally, we've got, for infantry, the Formosa, which is cool, joining the fray. They have Special Forces shock trait with airborne. Now they have 6 submachine guns, a satchel, Igla, and RPG-18, so they have everything they need to counter everything they bump into. Enemy infantry, dealt with the satchel at close range. Igla can obviously shoot down at enemy aircraft and helicopters mainly. RPG-18, nice fast-firing AT for dealing with pesky APCs. Yeah, really solid squad for 80 points. Only 3 on a card though for 80 points. And then we have the Recon helicopter, the MA-14. Exceptional optics, 205 km/h speed, no ECM, but is certainly going to spot a lot of stuff, especially if you can get it into a good position that's nice and high up, like on the top of a mountain, or like over one of those like weather stations or something. You can park them, or over like a big sort of high-rise building. You can park them over those and get really, really good information. Then AA tab, got the Strela 2s, kind of always trash. They can bring in the UAZ or the Scott 2 AP. Now the Scott 2 AP can actually target helicopters at a longer range, and it can also target aircraft technically, but yeah, probably not very often. Yeah, it's an interesting transport, but practically it's not very useful. Then we got the Zu-23-2, which is probably just a better choice than the Strela 2Ms in most cases. There's a 57, which is all right, but it's kind of just lacking damage. Then you got the ZBU-2 on the low 1800 truck, which is kind of, I mean, this truck's going to die very easily, and you're not going to put out much DPS, so it's kind of a pretty bad combination. There's a ZU-23-2 on the truck. I mean, this is okay, but again, the truck's kind of weak on its own. So generally, like a 4-man squad infantry is going to be more resilient because it's like harder to hit than this, and you're going to be having them in cover more often. So yeah, this is difficult to justify. Then you got the Shilka, which is decent. Great at sort of accompanying other AA units to help finish off enemy aircraft, or just like do that initial extra damage that is needed to like one-shot them with something else. And great for shooting down helicopters, of course. Then we got the 25mm truck. These things were always really good. They're in Reconnaissance as well. Yeah, I always like this twin 25mm. It's pretty good at shooting down helicopters. 2,475 meter range, 40 points, and resolute trait. We got a Strela, which is nice, speedy BRDM with the Strela system on it. 2,650 meter range, pretty accurate and reasonably accurate on the move as well. And then we got the OSA AKM, which is solid radar AA. 3,175 meter range against helicopters, which is really nice. 7 HE as well, and then 3,875 meter range against aircraft with 55% accuracy. Just make sure you micro the radar. Radar micro is going to become even more important when LANDJUT DLC comes out because of the seed aircraft and helicopters. Mi-8TB is your only option in the heli tab. You got 128 rockets. You got the machine gun, which is in the front there, and then the Malika M on the wings, or yeah, on the top of those pylons. Yeah, not too bad for a support helicopter. Finally, air tab. Lim 6M, kind of trash. 80 points, very fast, but only 6 health, no ACM. And in terms of payload, the 57mm rockets are really lacking in damage, and they also take an unreasonable amount of time to resupply. Yeah, I don't know. Not a very good aircraft in my opinion. Then you got the MiG-21, which comes with the R60s and the R13. R60 is really good for shooting down helicopters. R13 is good for taking down aircraft. I mean, the R60 is good for shooting down aircraft as well. It's just it requires 3 to land on target because it only does 4 HE damage. Regardless, 4 on a card for 145 points is a nice cost and availability. Then we have the Su-7 BKL, which is a E-war plane. So electronic warfare, it reduces the accuracy of radar weapons by 20%, and it also reveals enemy radar AA. So for 150 points, you get 3 on a card. These have 30% ECM 700 or 975 kilometer hour. Yeah, I feel that these could be really useful just to kind of like spin sort of over your lines, not like dive over the enemy AA with them, but just over your lines as kind of like radar recon, and then you can just like hit the enemy radar AA with your artillery. Like that's actually not too bad, and it's reasonably priced, and you get a lot of them. So yeah, I mean, you could also just like team them up with other Su-7s. So in this case, you got like a Su-7 with 6 240mm rockets, and these 240mm rockets are a lot better than they used to be. So yeah, you could like use this to spot the radar AA and then just smack them with rockets. Like that could be a thing. I mean, these are going to be really good for killing infantry as well. You only get 10% ECM on this variant though, so do bear that in mind. This is certainly going to be a 1v1 thing. I imagine this is going to be a pretty disgusting 1v1 division because of this air tab. Because now you've got a Su-7 as well with 8 250kg bombs for 185 points. And there's also a Napalm one, although the Napalm one probably won't be as useful. Napalm's not too strong in WARNO, which is probably a good thing, generally. If you turned it up too much, it would be really painful, like the big rocket launchers we have to deal with. But alas, yeah, nice Su-7. I mean, not only, I mean, it looks cool as well. Let me just like take that away. We can have a good look around the aircraft. It looks very nice. Yeah. Right, moving on, we have up the Su-22s. Su-22s are really good. This one is 180 points. You get 3 on a card. It has 420mm S-25 rockets. Oh boy. 4.2 HE. I'm very curious how much damage this does against tanks, because it could be very obnoxious. Yeah, 30% ECM, 975 km/h speed is the same for like all of these, except the seed variant, which does get extra ECM. But regardless, yeah, really nice rocket aircraft. I'm very tempted to actually set up a rocket aircraft deck that I would use in team games, which is something I would very rarely do. Usually you just want to get like the big chunky planes with good payloads and then just like wipe out big pushes with them, as opposed to like picking off units like you do in 1v1. But yeah, Su-22 M4, 4 250kg cluster bombs. If it dives, it's probably okay to get kills, but if it doesn't, then it's kind of trash. And then Su-24 or 22 with 4 500kg bombs. This is going to kill a decent amount of stuff, maybe not your heaviest tanks, but certainly the rest. Then you got the Su-22 M4 Seria 30, which has the KH-28-9T, which is great missile because it is fire and forget. 30%, 30 penetration with 3,500 meter range. The range is a bit short on it, but at least you don't have to hang about. You can just get close enough to fire it and then pull away. And then you've also got the seed variant, which does get that little bit of extra ECM. You got 30 pen on the KH-25, so it pretty much one-shots every AA unit, and 4,750 meter range is generous, so that's nice. Finally, we got the Su-27s. So we've got Su-27S. These are Soviet fighters. This one has 6 R-73s and 2 R-27Rs. And those R-27Rs have 8,475 meter range. You get 4 of them. They've got 6 HE. That's pretty nasty. And then the R-73s are also going to be really good for taking out enemy helicopters. Although using this for killing helicopters is a little risky for the amount of it costs. But yeah, 30% ECM, decent fighter. And then there's the AA2 variant, which comes with a very nasty amount of missiles. I mean, you've got like the R-27Rs on this and 4 of them, but now you're adding an R-27ER, which gets extra range, and the R-27T. So this is like your primary air-to-air like interceptor fighter, and this is more like your all-purpose fighter. This is a very, very nasty loadout. So, yeah, 4 R-27ERs, 8,800 meter range, 55% accuracy with 6 HE, and then the R-77T, which is 6 HE again with 6,350 meter range, 55% accuracy, really good missiles, 40% ECM as well, 1,125 km/h speed. That is going to be a real monster to deal with. I just was thinking, like, what's different about these two? You can clearly see that like one's got the ECM pods on the wings. That's cool. That's actually really cool. Yeah, those ECM pods. Very nice. All right, well, let's go ahead and put together a quick deck. So definitely something like this with the fob in there. We'll definitely bring in the BMPs for my leaders. For the infantry tab, we're going to do Conkers, Commandosi, Vargo is important. We'll bring those with Scott 2AMs. Those can come with SPW 70s. This can come with the Honker. That's fine. Then we want probably WSW. I think they're going to be pretty important in this deck. And then SVD Infantry. The Panzermatrosen are pretty nice. I might bring those with the SPW 70s. Leader-wise, this is not the leader I want, it's the other one. This one. I'll bring them with BMP 3s. Or BMP 1, sorry. Okay, those can come in with Scott, so they can come with BMPs. Lovely. We'll get those in. Am I missing anything? I don't think so. I mean, I might want to bring some of these. I mean, another way you could build it is just to go like reserves plus these for your AT amongst the reserves. But I think this is a good all-rounder. Actually, I might just do that. I might go reserves with these, and that'll be its own combination. And just bring them in trucks, because that Topaz is so slow. Okay. Do I outvet these, maybe? Maybe not the Scott one, but the BMP one could be useful to have upvetted. Yeah, we'll go with something like that. And then artillery. I want to kind of try this. So we'll get one of each, and then we'll bring in probably some of these guns. But tell you what, we'll just bring in, I know they're only 12k range. I don't think I want to use those. You get 4 on a card of these. Actually, I like that. I like that. Now they're doing less damage, but the number or availability of them is actually really good. But tank-wise, I think Konkers, Malutka, definitely bring the T-55s. You could bring in the T-55 AS as well. Probably a leader. Let's take out the Malutka and just keep the Konkers one. Recon-wise, Recon tab looks great. I will take those, and those for sure. And then I think I'm going to take these guys with the Trihors. Not a fan again of the PKM, but I can use them as just recon, so it kind of makes sense. We'll definitely bring in this. And I would like these guys as well, but we do kind of already get a lot of recon. And exceptional optics is such a good upgrade. Yeah, we'll probably take those. That's fine. AA, definitely OSAs. Strozala, 25 mil. I think that's fine. I might just keep them unvet. Yeah, that's fine. And then MITB can be used in a pinch. We're definitely bringing these. And then E-War, Rocket. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Seed, maybe. Gee, I guess the rocket planes are my seed. Bring in the AT plane, HE plane. That'll do. Okay, where else do I want to put points? I could bring in some reserve tanks. Yeah, that tab is kind of Kind of rough on activation points, the tank tab, but it's kind of important as well. Not sure how I feel about my infantry tab, if I'm honest. Yeah, this is one I'm going to definitely have to mess around with. But I'm looking forward to trying the rocket launcher. This deck in general looks pretty good, especially like the air tab looks like an absolute menace in 1v1. Just going to call that 15th punishment. I can't remember how I normally call them. I do have trouble pronouncing those names. Yeah. All right. Well, there it is. The 15th Polish mech. That's the one. Formosa look great, honestly. Fantastic special forces. Great air tab. Artillery could be good, especially with the artillery changes coming in. Maybe like gun artillery, like towed artillery will be really useful again. I don't know. Or will just be good value. Infantry seems decent enough. Like same with the tank tab. Yeah, solid. Well, let me know what you think about this division in the comments. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.